In this video, I'm going to show you how to make quick and easy, beginner-friendly crochet plushie eggs with chenille yarn. This pattern is designed specifically for this bulky yarn and makes a great addition to your Easter baskets. Let's get started. Alright, so to make the small egg, I don't know how small I'm calling this, let's see. It's about 4 inches, maybe just under 4 inches. You're going to need a chenille yarn. I am using Premier Just Chenille, and the demonstration color, this orange shade, is called, I think it's salmon. Yeah, salmon. The others that you'll see in the picture, this is light mauve, mint green, and then light blue. And as I said, you can find these on the Premier site, or Dollar Tree has these as well. You need about 10, 11, 12 yards depending what brand you're using. This is a super bulky yarn, and I'm using a 5mm hook. It'll keep the stitches tight, but not too tight. They should still be pretty easy for you to work. And I'm going to do the whole egg, so you do not need the written pattern. You can follow along, but the written is available in the description. So to get started, I'm going to do a magic circle. This is my method. You use one that you like. So I bring the tail over to the left, pinch, bring up a loop, does not count as a stitch, chain to secure. And from here, I will single crochet 4 stitches. The whole pattern is all single crochet, and it's worked in a continuous round with no joins. So you will need some kind of stitch marker, but since this is such a quick project, I would just throw over a piece of yarn, which I'm going to get right now and do that. Pull my tail closed. Where's my tail? Here we go. Alright, so I've got a contrasting color yarn here, and I will put that down before I start round 1. Make sure my tail in the right place. Okay, so for this round, I'm going to increase to 8 stitches, so that will go from 4 to 8. That means 2 stitches in each stitch. So I'm going to look back, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's the first stitch of the round. I'm getting in there. There we go. One and 2. My last stitch. 2 more to equal 8. Take out my stitch marker. Replace it. Next round, I'm going to increase from 8 to 14. So I need to increase 6 of my 8 stitches. And you just want to be evenly spacing your stitches, or your increases, yeah. Chenille yarn's a little more tricky to work with. Do 2 here. So my non-increased stitch, I'm going to make that the second one, and then the 6th one. I won't increase that one. and 2 on the next, 2 on the next, 2. This one, I'll just do 1, and then the remaining stitches will each get 2 stitches. So you should have 14 total at the end of this round. Got my marker and replace it. Right, round 3, I'm going to increase from 14 to 16, so I only need 2 stitches increasing. So I'll put 2 here and then 2 midway. Just working 1 stitch in each until it's time to do another increase. All right, this is midway. I'll work 2 right here. Just keep your stitches nice and easy. You don't have to go tight with chenille. The fuzziness of the yarn fills everything in. A little more slack here, and then I'll just keep single crocheting to the end of the round, and I will have a total of 16 because I made 2 increases. Right now, the next round, I'm going to increase from 16 to 18. So I will do 2 increases again, but I will do them at different spots. I'll work a little further around before doing my increase. Do that right here. Work a few more single crochet and then do a second increase. Let's do my second increase here, and that will bring this up to 18 stitches when I get to the end of the round. Find that stitch, there it is. And 18. Now you want to have your, whatever you're using to fill your egg with nearby, because you'll have to stuff it pretty soon. Otherwise it gets too narrow and you can't get the stuffing in. So I'm going to just double check that, make sure I have 18, I didn't miss anything, and move my stitch marker. Right now I'm on round 5. I'm going to increase from 18 to 22, so I need to do 4 increases in this round. I'll increase this first stitch, and then evenly space. I will use the clock method, so if this was 12 o'clock, come around to 3 o'clock for my next increase. Just here, so I'll work 2 here. There's 2. Next increase at 6 o'clock. Which is right about here. that second single crochet in that stitch, and then one more increase around the 9 o'clock position. Right here. And then finish my round where I will have 22 single crochet. Didn't mean to throw my stitch marker, but it happens. All right, now the next round I'm going to increase by 2. So this is round number 6. And I'm putting the round numbers up so you can see them up there. So I will increase 2 stitches. Did I say that already? I do one right here. So it's a little bit off from where my first one was, so that I have an evenly spaced increase where they aren't stacking on each other. So for this I'll do, maybe 2 o'clock and 8 o'clock positions for my increases. It's 23 and 24. All right, you should be looking like this by now. In the egg shape, so it's worked from the top down, so you'll see the most narrow point up here where you began. All right, so round 7, we're going to do 4 increases to go from 24 stitches to 28 stitches. And I will do the 4 classic time positions of 12 o'clock. So I'll do 1 increase here at the first, the next at the, working this way, it's going to be the 9 o'clock, but I'm just going to say 12, 3, 6, and 9. But if that confuses you, we'll count, or you can count from 12, 9, 6, and 3. But just those quarter points to evenly space your 4 stitches in the round. And then my final and 4th increase right here. And then as I finish this round, I will have my 28 stitches. And then we've just got one more increase round to get to that kind of widest point of our plushie Easter egg. So I'm gonna mark. Now for round 8, with my stitch marker, this round only has 2 increases. So I will do the 2 o'clock and 8 o'clock increase position again for this. So here's 1 increase, and then there will be 1 more, so this will be 30 stitches. Now the next 2 rounds, which are rounds 9 and 10, you will just work your 30 stitches again. So these 2 rounds will be no increase, no decrease, just 30 stitches around. So I will meet you back for round 11. Now we begin the decreases. So from the 3 rounds of 30 stitches that I've just completed, I'm going to decrease the next round from 30 stitches to 26 stitches. And that's 4 decrease, so I'm going to do that clock method again with the 12, 3, 6, and 9. So I will decrease my first stitch, and I'm going to do the invisible decrease method. Let me show you how to do that if you don't know. So you go into the front loop of your first stitch, and it's a little awkward. Bend and go into the front loop of the second stitch. It can be a little hard to see with this fuzzy yarn. Pull through those 2 loops, those 2 front loops, and then bring your yarn up and make a stitch. So that's my first invisible decrease. Let me work some single crochet, and we'll do it again at the 3 o'clock or 9 o'clock position, whichever you're counting, which way you're telling your time. All right, let's do another one. Find that front loop in the jungle here that is plush yarn. Go down into the next front loop. So you can see there I have my 2 front loops on the hook. I'm going to pull the yarn through those. It's going to feel a little snug. There we go. Bring up my loop and make a stitch. And again at the 6 o'clock position. Make sure it's a stitch. All right, one more time, front loop, second front loop. Let me double check that. Yes, I had 2. All right, pull up, that joined those 2, pull through, and then make 1 stitch from those 2. And a final time at the 9 o'clock position. All right, my final decrease, front loop, and the second front loop. Pull through both. Make my stitch. All right, so now I have 26 stitches. Or I will when I finish this round. Right now this is round 12, and this will have 2 decrease stitches to go from 26 to 24. And I will do those at the 2 o'clock and 8 o'clock position. Decrease using that same method, the 2 front loops. Bring my yarn through, and so on. Now for round 13, I'm going to do 4 decreases. So from 24 stitches down to 20 stitches. And after this round, I'm going to probably stuff my egg just to make sure I can get a good bit in there. But let's first do our decreases. So this is a 4 decrease round. I will do the clock position again. Decrease first. second decrease here. Pull through. And I'll just keep working this round and do my other 2 decreases. All right, so I finished the rounds. I've got my 20 stitches, and I want to talk a little bit about stuffing. I have a whole video on stuffing alternatives, but I'm gonna pull them out now because the alternatives are nice for these little projects. So my first one, which some people might think is weird, but I have 2 long-haired indoor cats. I ragdolls, and they have a lot of hair, and I brush them several times a week. So if it's not, you know, like the business end, I save their hair. Now, if you're going to use pet hair, you know, we use animal hair in our yarn. Nothing wrong with cat hair. And in fact, in some of those really cold countries, they pay for the warmer cat hair to be made into garments. So don't feel strange about it if it's clean. Put it into a baggie, because if you have pets, you know pet hair sticks to everything. And this way it doesn't, it's not gonna bother anyone with allergies, and it goes in without just getting everywhere. That's one option. Another one is paper shreds. I don't wash my little items, so I don't care anything about them having to be washable. If that's an issue for you, of course, don't use paper. But paper goes in, paper shreds from your junk mail. It's a little bit thicker than regular, you know, letter paper. Some of those stiffer mailings, like your credit card offers and voting stuff and, you know, what have you. That works really well as stuffing. Or you can use a mix of all 3. And then, of course, I have a couple of bags of polyfill around. But for this kind of thick yarn where the shaping doesn't have to be exactly perfect, paper works great. So waste not, want not. I use everything. Honestly, I don't like to use polyfill all that much. It irritates my eyes when I work with it. But you use what you like, what you have on hand. The first 2 are basically free for me. So I use, you know, all kind of things to stuff my little goodies. All right, so I've partially stuffed it, and I may finish with polyfill at the end, because I'll only be able to get kind of my finger in at the very end, and the paper's going to be tough and it's going to come apart. So let me put that aside, and let's get on to our next round. So now we are on round 14, which is decreasing from 20 to 18. Just shape a little bit up here. And this time I'll use the 4 o'clock and 10 o'clock position for my decreases. And I'll have the count up at the top so you don't have to sit and watch me do this. Again, I know it gets repetitive, but I want to make sure you can follow this without having to get the PDF pattern, unless you choose to. And now for, let's see, round 15, I'm going to decrease by 4. So you know the drill. That is the decrease at the 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6, and 9 o'clock positions. Using that same invisible decrease method I showed you before. And we're in the home stretch now. Just 2 more rounds after this. And I'm going to get my polyfill now and put a little more in here just to kind of round out my paper stuffing that I used for this one. Check your check your shape. You don't need it with the plushie yarn. You don't need it all the way to the very tip because we'll just kind of be tapping at the finishing round to place it. So I've got 2 more rounds with just some little decreases left to do. And by little, I mean 2 each. So we'll go from 14 to 12 and then from 12 to 10. And then that's it. Get this out. Replace. So I'll do my first decrease. And then now I'm down to my 12 stitches. And if you don't have a tapestry needle with a big enough eye for this yarn, I'll show you another option. I'm going to decrease down to 10 stitches. So I'll just immediately work a decrease. And if you want any more stuffing, you know, put it in now while you can, because once you get down to 10, it's going to be really tricky to get anything else in there. Like I said, you don't need to have it all the way, you know, topped up to the very edge. All right, finish my rounds. I'm going to cut my tail. Kind of reshape a little bit. Just press on it. Okay, looks like an egg. So you can use your, I have a really big tapestry needle. If you don't have one, I'll show you what else you can do. So you're going to finish by going around, not back and forth, but just kind of around on the inside, kind of like you're seaming up a hat, like so. Now, if you don't have one of these, use what I have, I think 1 or 2 videos before, the ultimate finishing tool for crochet and knit projects. It is a small crochet hook, and this works when nothing else works. So it's great for buttonholes and for weaving in awkward ends, or if you have yarn chicken and you just lost your yarn chicken, just use your hook. And for this yarn, you can, if you don't have 2mm, you can use 3, maybe even 4mm. And just pull it through, hook it through, just to kind of start bringing it together. And you're just going to tap it, kind of get it to go into place and close up. See, I did that here, and you just can't tell. That's one nice thing about this yarn. This yarn is difficult to work with, but I'll tell you, for finishing, it's pretty simple. Okay, so I'm going to bring it through here. Just keep going around till my place is all filled in. And then I want to bring it to the inside before I trim down the end so that I can kind of pat it down into there. Use the back of your needle, just kind of put it in place. Okay, here I have another egg, so I'm going to make the rest of these. And and give this video a like if you enjoyed making your plushie Easter eggs with me.